You are listening to Quarters and Barra. I am Glenn Quartermain, senior sports writer with the West Australian. With me is Adrian Barrach of Channel 7 Perth Football Club and West Coast Eagles fame. We are brought to you by TABtouch. Got the touch? Download the TABtouch app today. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Barra, as you know, I'm well connected in many areas. This morning I got the phone call from a friend of mine who works at the Bureau of Meteorology, Barra. And you know what he told me?
No.
Batten down the hatches, strap yourself in, secure any loose backyard furniture, because there's a Category 4 brewing.
This is an important cyclone warning announcement.
What's
Of course,
going on, mate?
I allude
He's
to
re-signed,
the
has he?
announcement this morning from the Fremantle Dockers, Barra, that he's re-signed.
Yeah.
Josh, Treacy, JT, the big kahuna, but I know him as Cyclone. He has signed a 4-year contract extension that keeps him at Fremantle until 2030.
How much would that be, you reckon? I reckon he's in such great form. If he's I don't know who his manager is, but if he's doing the right job, it'd have to be 3 to 4 mil.
I reckon that you'd be looking around that area.
Mate,
yes.
so he's now a multi-millionaire.
But he's earned the right to.
The boy
He's-
from Kahuna, the town
boy
of
from-
2,000 people.
Yes, from a dairy district in country Victoria, and he's now earned the coin he should, because there's been a lot of interest from interstate clubs. He was never going to leave, but of course they're coming at him, mate, because forwards
from
don't
Victoria.
and forwards do not fall off trees, and he has been in rare form, and I think he adds a dimension to that forward line that can really allow them to have an impact deep into September.
Now, does this take the edge off him? Like, this worries me, signing on the eve of the finals. That just, I'm sure he's not that type of guy, but putting my footy hat on, I'm thinking if I've just signed a $3 to $4 million deal, I'm cruising.
No, he's 20. He's 21.
It's taken the edge off me.
Can you believe he's 21?
I'm looking at Ferraris. I'm just looking at houses.
Not that kind of guy. Not that kind of guy.
It can be a distraction. It might keep you hungry. They should have kept him hungry till September. Maybe we'll give you an extra 500 if you pull us through the finals.
Well,
Hey, that's what I'd be doing.
no silverware at Fremantle just yet, Barrass, so there's no reason to not be hungry at that club. He is 21, was picked up in the 2020 rookie draft, so 71 goals in 55 matches since his 2021 debut, and as you and I both agree, I know, you don't want to be, you're an opposition defender and you're looking over your shoulder when he's wreaking havoc around that forward line. Gets down the line to takes much. Beautiful kick.
Oh, mate, it's incredible how good a kick he is. And you know what? It's probably against the Bombers. I wonder if he does plateau a bit. And then he can rebound for the finals.
He is not plateauing this week, mate. If
you're human, come on, put your human hat on for a sec.
That's fair enough.
Honestly,
So why do you
can relate to this. If I've come to you, you're working at 7 West,
Yep.
okay? We've worked out that you're the absolute gun. You're the hero.
So where are you at
So
this
say you're on-
hypothetical, where are you though?
Yeah, well, I'm putting you in the...
I just wanna know where I'm going.
I can relate to
Oh,
it,
okay.
right? But you probably need to put your hat on, right? So say you're on 150,
Okay.
all right? So he would have probably been on, 300, reckon? Maybe 400, 300? Probably 300. All right, so he's probably going to triple his money, all right? So you're going to be on Glenn Quartermain for the next 4 or 5 seasons, or next 4 or 5 years with 7 West, you're going to be on $500,000.
Gee, I'm going to be up with you. Like what you earn. Oh, that's
Up
great.
with Rick and Sue.
Oh, not lovely.
Look,
I was with Rick last night.
mate,
Seinfeld
don't
quiz.
go off on a bloody tangent.
Okay.
There People accuse us of not finishing discussions. Here's one,
Sorry.
exact one, and you're trying to get out of it. Come on, tell me, as a human being, if you've just signed a $500,000 contract, there's people out there who can do it. They're driving in their cars now going, shit, that would be hard to adjust to, and I would be partying. If you've just signed tell me what you would immediately do if you've just signed a $500,000 deal for 4 years. So you're on you've got $2 million in the kick for your family.
I'm doing some renos. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm,
What are you
I'm
doing?
getting the big sledgehammer out and breaking a few walls down and doing some renos. What am I doing? I'm turning up to work the next
immediately-
day as hungry as ever
No,
because I
you're
want to
not, mate.
prove I'm worth the money.
You're not breaking those stories the next day. You're probably not even turning up. You've probably got a hangover.
I might.
You're out with Lise. You've gone to the best restaurant you can find. You've talked it up big. You've drunk up big. Come on, admit it. You'd be on the squirt relentlessly.
I'm breaking the story that I've just re-signed. So that's a pretty big story in itself.
Come on,
isn't it?
admit it. Just admit it. Just be honest for once. Come on.
I'm always honest.
What would you actually do? If you just signed a $2 million deal, come on, tell me.
I'd probably have a day off.
Yeah, exactly. How many days? You might even have the rest of the week off.
But I get that.
And would you be straight down the pub telling the boys, or what would you be?
Oh, I'd probably go up the Civic and shout a couple of rounds.
Yeah, shout a few rounds.
A couple of black ducks.
Pints
of black duck.
Celebrate with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your focus would drift away from work for a couple of years at least.
Some say it has already. Josh his family's all in Victoria, mate. So I don't think we need to worry about Josh Treacy, mate. The opposition defences have been coming at him all year, and last weekend was a great example. I thought Harry Edwards did a terrific job in the first half of the Derby, but then after half time, they got to work Freo. Much better side, team effort, but he was just finishing beautifully and turning half chances into chances in that forward line.
It's a beautiful kick, you're right.
A beautiful
Actually,
kick
just
for goal.
thinking about it, to be
He's going to play. He'll be in their best 6 this week.
To be serious for a moment, I'm just thinking about it. The way it actually works is he would already have known, right? So because it has to go to the AFL to be signed off on to make sure it's all
so
sweet.
He's known for weeks.
So maybe his good form is related to the fact that he knows he's a multi and he's sweetski and he can play with gay abandon. He can play with, license to thrill because he knows he's sweet. So maybe the contract's actually the reason he's playing well.
What do you reckon? What car's he going to buy? Do you see him as a Ferrari man?
No,
I see him as an old E.H. Holden man, mate.
No, mate. They'll be getting the utes. The boys are...
the utes. Yeah, he's a ute.
The big utes.
He's
Silver
a
or black.
country boy.
Big wheels.
Black ute.
Bull bar probably.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler?
I don't know. I don't think he's a surfer, but... Mate,
skirting boards.
He'd be getting out there. He'd be very popular with the... Has he got a partner?
He does, yes. I believe so.
Well, in that case...
I hope I haven't coupled you. Apologies if I've just coupled you up, Josh, and you're not coupled up. I think you are. Hey, but I just alluded to it before. I was out with the great Rick last night. Rick, as you know, is captain of our Seinfeld trivia team. We're at the Fat Cafe Brewery, the beer, one in West Perth. So they had a Seinfeld trivia night. And I'm pleased to announce.
You won again?
We won again. It was a playoff.
Getting boring or what?
No, never.
Never getting boring.
No. Wasn't the toughest of quizzes last night. There were a few questions that we thought are a little bit pedestrian.
You're doing your sleep. What happens when everyone knows the answer? Are you the scribe? Do you
No, I wasn't last night, but normally I am because my penmanship is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
But you also have to be the one that decides between two nufties arguing, don't you?
Well,
generally.
there was
Rick's arguing with someone.
Yeah.
Who else is on your team?
You wouldn't know.
Just name someone.
Jordan McArdle's on the team.
Jordan.
Yeah.
So Jordan's arguing with Rick, and you have to do you have to adjudicate?
We
That's
don't
always
really
the hard
argue.
bit.
Generally
Really?
speaking, we've got the answer within 5 seconds.
Mate, that sounds a bit boring.
Although there was controversy.
That sounds very boring.
There was a quiz night up in Scarborough once, and there was some controversy. Rick said to me, you wrote down the wrong answer. And we got it wrong. And I said to him, I don't think I did, Rick. That's what you told me. And he said, that's not what I told me. And I said, well, you're the newsreader. You can need to articulate it better. He's a great man,
He's very
Rick.
pedantic, mate. Because if you make a blue on the news, like I've told you the stories about H and H. If I say HBF Park, afterwards, Barra, just want you to know that in nowadays in the modern world we say HBF Park. It's H, not H. But I'm Catholic. Went to Catholic schools. It was always H. Did you go H or H?
H.
H. You were always an H man, were you? You're a Protestant or something.
Hey, you know what? That is a beautiful... No, I'm a Catholic. It's a beautiful...
Oh, yeah, sure
You know
you
what?
are.
That is the world's greatest segue, Barra, that you mentioned HBF Park, because...
You've just come from there?
I've come from there.
Yeah, and got a freebie again,
No,
mate?
I didn't get a freebie.
Oh, shit, mate. You had breakfast.
Really? I walked out of beautiful bacon and egg rolls and steaming hot coffee. I got in my car, dashed here to do the podcast. I haven't eaten.
Mate, the breakfast was a bit late, wasn't it, then?
No, they had a game of touch rugby. Sacco was playing, our old mate Sacco.
Did you play?
I didn't this year, no.
I normally play in that. I must be, it's a 7 thing, isn't it?
No,
I'm a 7 person.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is. I'm a 7 person. That's why I'm not
I was
invited.
invited to play.
Yeah, well,
And I'm a 7 person.
You should actually probably not be going.
Why?
Because, mate,
I love rugby league.
we don't like rugby league.
Anyway.
Haven't you got the memo, mate?
No, we love rugby
and the
league.
Olympics
stories in the paper.
You know
this
the
week.
Olympics on 9 as well. We don't actually like that as well.
Jeez, we're doing a good job of covering
You
it.
are anyway.
Hey, I just wanted to mention.
Mate, have you signed that 4-year, $2 million contract?
Not yet.
You better.
So as
You're hanging out with all the enemies,
as
mate.
you know, the
I did not go, by the way. Anyone listening?
So the AFL.
I'm not promoting
fired
NRL.
a shot across the bows of
I
the
played
NRL
NRL and I'm not promoting it.
when they kept those last 6 weeks of fixtures loose and scheduled a double header tomorrow night against the Dolphins Roosters game
Are you
at
going to
HBF
pump
Park.
up NRL again?
Well, what
eh?
I'm going to tell you is
You know it's going to be on 9, don't
it's
you?
a sellout. It's a sellout, mate.
Get to the game. Get to the game.
So
Don't watch it on
when
TV.
the Western Bears come in, Barra, the new NRL team that we'll have here,
Mm-hmm.
if the AFL was thinking, we'll just fixture it against the NRL and see how it goes, we'll take a few support.
Yeah.
Mate, it's a sellout. It's going to be chockers. So I guess what I'm saying is well done to the rugby league fans of Western Australia because I think if there was ever any question about whether we could have a team here, I think it's just been answered. Fair enough?
All right, let me ask you this then. So I am going as a journalist. We've done a 4-way thing with all the stations, right? Yeah. So just to understand why I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going?
I'm going to do the Dolphins.
Oh, good. I'll be there.
I'm going to do Wayne Bennett.
Oh, good.
He's about 72.
You mean today?
Yeah. When are you talking about?
Captain's run.
Yeah, he's the presser on today.
Yeah.
You're not coming, or?
I can't. I'm in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Good on
Olympic
you, mate.
village.
Can you do something that's on 7? Far out. Anyway, so I'm going along.
Sorry.
I'm going along to do the Dolphins because Channel 10 and the ABC are doing Longmuir and Jared Schofield.
And you share the audio.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Video. We've got video now.
Video and audio,
that's
sorry.
right. And then I think Channel 9 went to the Roosters and spoke to Robbo, Trent Robinson. And so I've got the job of speaking to Wayne Bennett and talk about the short straw. Pretty reticent of.
How are you going to go?
Not
against
exactly
Wayne
elaborating.
Bennett? How are you going to go against
Anyway,
Wayne?
so I get this note.
He's a great man.
Yeah, but he's not exactly the most, publicity conscious sort of dude, is he?
Well, you'll be fine.
So I've got the questions here. It says, this is from the dudes in the East. Actually, it's from Channel, one of the other stations. The Perth NRL bid could reportedly merge with the North Sydney Bears and the team be the Perth Bears.
Western Bears more likely, I think.
Western Bears, is it? Yep. Okay, I'll add that. And North Sydney, their feeder team. So can you ask Wayne Bennett, 72, Grumpy Barger, what he thinks about the Perth bid joining forces with North Sydney and if he thinks it'll work?
I know what he'll say.
What?
He loves it.
Couldn't care less?
No, he wants it. He loves it. He's been endorsing it for years.
All right,
He's a
perfect.
big advocate of WA having its own team.
Well, that gives me confidence. Second question, though, I'm a bit worried about. Wayne has left the door open to potentially coach the next expansion team. Mm-hmm. Do these people know that he's going to South Sydney for 3 years? He's going to be 75 by the end of the year?
He's 27 when the Western Bears come in.
So
he could do Sydney and then into here.
It's South Sydney?
Yeah, South Sydney, yeah.
He could he?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So with his contract ending in time to do so. Okay, that's what you said. So would Wayne like to coach the Perth team when they enter the NRL?
He would be up for anything.
What do you reckon he's going to say to
He's
that?
been around for a long time.
He'd
be fine with that.
What about,
He might say something like, I'm just worried about this game at the moment. We're 8th on the ladder. We're playing the team that's 3rd on the ladder.
And I am coaching the Roosters for 3 years. The Rabbitohs for the next 3 years.
But he's worried about getting his team. By the way, if they get in, what a magnificent effort. Second year in the competition.
What are we talking about now? Oh, the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fins up, buddy. Fins up.
Now, should I say, but Wayne, you're going to be 75. Could you really coach another team?
I wouldn't say that.
Don't say that?
No.
Okay, I'll leave that one out.
No.
Would he be open to moving to Perth to help start the club then?
You can ask that.
Would you suggest that he would be?
Yes.
And what does he think the main ingredients are to make the Perth team successful?
Great question. Great questions.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, so there we go. So what's the news tonight?
Let's go back to footy,
We'll
which
get
is
about
what this
35
podcast is about.
seconds on the news.
Actually, before we go to footy, just the Olympics roll on, mate. I just wanted a couple of shout-outs. Firstly to Caitlin Parker. Great effort in the boxing. So she's now through the quarterfinals and looking a real medal chance.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Do you know her?
I know her well, yes.
You do know. Where's she from?
She's from eastern suburbs.
Gosnells.
Gosnells.
She's from Gozzie girl.
You know why she took up boxing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She couldn't walk home in the dark.
The old man wouldn't let her walk home in the dark without taking up some defence.
Started taekwondo, I think.
Yeah.
And she looked like she was doing a bit of taekwondo on that Mexican.
Yes.
Ortiz.
Yes.
Mate, it was brilliant. I almost rang you. I almost said, you got to put on the radio and listen to Carl and Langdon and his mate calling the boxing.
Yeah.
They clearly had no idea what was going on or who
Hey,
she
did
was.
you hear Carl? Have you heard Carl do the shooting? How can you do shooting on
was
radio?
he was doing shooting in between.
Paul,
and then he was trying to do...
anyone can, Carl can.
And did you see what happened in the triathlon? They declared the... They declared... This is no bullshit. They declared the New Zealand bloke was unbeatable. He couldn't be beaten. Well, hang on. 15 seconds
It's
later.
interesting.
The pommy guy just streaked him. He must have...
I didn't realise they were adding a new element to the triathlon. I didn't realise that. They didn't tell us about that.
What's that?
There's also an obstacle course. All the poodle turds floating around in the same.
Oh, so they did have a swim in the... Yeah. They came out looking like frogs, most of them, so to speak. But, mate, I've got to tell you I got to tell you the Carl story. So, this is no bull. So I'm sitting in my kitchen. I said, I'm going to listen to this because...
You're sitting in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sitting in my kitchen, we're having dinner.
Okay.
You know, it's about 8 o'clock.
Do you have dinner in your kitchen?
Yeah, where do you have dinner?
In the dining room.
Yeah, I don't have a dining room.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Money bags.
Oh, yeah.
Sign that $2 million deal.
Turn it up.
Bloody hell. Where do you live again?
Go on.
Dalkeith.
No.
She's so good. All right, so I'm sitting in my kitchen anyway, on my bar stools.
Yeah.
I'm having dinner with Jodes. So we've got to have this in the Carl here. And this is no bullshit. The other joker who's calling, he had no clue who this Caitlin Parker was.
So you
and he'd been Googling. He'd be Googling it, right? Yeah. And so he's gone to Wikipedia and he goes, oh, she's born in Subiaco, Carl. Right.
So everyone says she's from Subi. She's from Gosnells.
But the best thing was Carl never even tried to clarify why she's from Subi. Because King Edward's Hospital is in Subi, right? Yeah. Everyone in Perth's from friggin' Subi.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
We're born at that hospital. Or you're born at St John of God's down the road, right?
My son was,
So Carl keeps saying she's from Subi too. Oh. So Carl clearly doesn't know she's from Gosnells, right? But anyway, so Carl's stretching and he's struggling. He goes, shit, what else can I talk about? And he goes, I played for Subi. And he talks about the 1989 grand final in the waffle on national radio.
Well, good on him. That's all right.
It was friggin' brilliant. Well, I'm a waffle man. I was going, how good's this? We're on the Olympic coverage. Yeah.
Well, if anyone can cover anything, mate, it's Carl, because he can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles.
Mate, but how about the research, honestly? So... Anyway, the reason I mentioned that is I wanted to tell you, you said before you wish Dennis Cometti was still calling, right?
Yep.
So at the Olympic Games with Bruce McAvaney.
Bruce is going to be calling.
I've got a sample here of a bloke who's auditioned on American television to see what he's like as a commentator. Have a listen, see what you think.
Okay. 37 toss to the left. He's got wheels, he deals, he falls, he spills. When he gives it to his home and he get 5 to stay alive. See, that's 5 points. Now they're grooving.
That's right, because this was France's first gold medal. In a sport they love, rugby.
Snoop Dogg, is it?
Get your groove on.
Is it Snoop Dogg?
Get your groove
on.
Snoop? It's Snoop. Snoop audition. What is Snoop doing over there?
Mate,
and what's he doing
pretty funny.
He was on ESPN commentating.
Mate, it is so funny.
You said he should have smoked the torch.
Oh, it looked, not that I know what they are, but it looked like a giant reefer barra. And I was wondering if he's going to turn it on its side and start, having a bit of a toke.
This show's like Cheech and Chong. Which one are you?
I'm Cheech, man. Cheech.
You are Cheech.
Hey, but congratulations to the wonderful Miss Fox as well. She's backed up her K1 gold medal with a C1 gold medal.
Incredible.
And she's going to be going in the kayak cross at the weekend.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's amazing. You get launched 2 metres in with 3 other boats, so there's 4 of you in there. You can use your paddles to fend off other paddlers. You've got to go around obstacles, and you've got to do a little Eskimo roll at the end.
She's the first athlete to do the kayak canoe double after that stunning win last night. So her second Olympic gold, and we think she'll win that as well, don't we?
Yeah.
So be the third one.
It's great theatre with her parents there, the old man doing the commentary. I love it, mate.
I'm tired of the anyway. The Matildas is the one that has just rocked us.
Yeah,
2-1 lost to USA and out of the Olympic Games.
A lot of body language not good, and a lot of cackle that the coach is on his way out the door as well.
It is a tough gig.
Is it?
Running that team.
Yeah, righto.
Having connections.
Flying over there in private
that
jets. Have they started to?
No. It's just the politics and the
Righto.
treading carefully and like talking to
Surely they haven't.
a father that we all know of the probably greatest player. It's a tricky gig, a very tricky gig.
Have they missed Sam Kerr that much?
Well,
have, clearly.
They're out. They're out before the finals.
You know what I'm really shattered about? I was watching it live the other night. The women's sevens.
Yeah.
I was absolutely shattered, and I'm still not comfortable with it. Just threw away a golden chance. The refereeing was dodgy.
So which game are you talking about?
The women's sevens.
Yeah, which game though?
Oh, the
against Canada or
the one
against USA?
No, the one against Canada.
So to get into the gold medal game,
yes,
when they were 12-0 up,
yes,
and they end up losing 21-12,
yes,
and they got Madison Levy.
Yeah.
Is it Levy?
She's been yes, it is Levy.
She scored 14 tries.
Yeah,
all up.
and then just had a bit of a fumble in that game against Canada that was unfortunate. But they were. Yeah, I was just really disappointed.
Did you watch the bronze medal game as well?
No, I didn't get to that one, mate.
Oh, mate, you haven't heard?
Oh no, they won. They got beaten. They haven't won.
So did you see what happened there?
USA,
though?
yeah. I heard
no
about
wonder
it.
you're not outraged as much as you should be.
I'm more outraged not making the gold medal.
They got
match
no
than the
medal,
bronze.
mate.
I know.
Got no medal.
Neither did the men.
The absolute favourites, hottest of
The men
hot
were
favourites.
too, and didn't get a medal.
No, but not like the women. The women are superstars. Madison, 14 tries. The most tries ever in a tournament is 11.
Is it hard to come out of a match where you're expected to play for gold and then all of a sudden you're playing for bronze?
No, but what happened was, you should have waited till I told you what happened because you've sort of gone on assuming and making assessments on stuff that you don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, so what actually happened was they had won the game, the bronze, but there was like 1 second or 5 seconds to go. Madison had scored again and we're home. We've got the bronze. And there's need to make one more tackle, and the other Levy. The two of them tried to get this USA girl. She went through them and ran the entire field and scored with no time on the clock. So they had to do a kick in front of goal, so in the middle. So just kick to win the match. USA kicks it. Australia no medal. Mate, it's the greatest.
Sevens is
heartbreaker.
like that. Sevens you can get if you get free, you can run the length of the field tries. It's a good game, sevens. I like it, but yeah, not happy with any of that, mate. I've got to say.
So Matilda's Gonski, women's rugby Gonski.
Yep.
And
Still got some...
we've dropped a couple of medals there. And the 100-metre swimming
Freestyle.
today, the Chinese fella, what was the Chinese fella's name? He,
Oh, yeah,
can yell it out, Josh.
Cole
What?
Chalmers not happy. Wasn't talking to him.
Did Kyle give him his clip about...
Well, he didn't trust him
About-
for his out-of-the-pool antics and wouldn't talk to him.
I think it was more to do with doping, wasn't it?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, antics. I see what you mean, yeah. But that guy would have been getting tested left, right and centre, wouldn't he? But is he the only world record?
Well, they
though?
say there have been a lot of tests for the Chinese swimmers, but I'm yet to be convinced, my friend.
Pan Zahain. Anyway, so the Chinese fellow who won,
I love it.
he's accused Chalmers of ignoring him,
Yeah. Oh, well, good.
saying the Australian and other rivals disrespected,
Oh, well, he'll get over it.
and he's the world record holder. He obliterated the field.
Oh, well, he'll get over it.
A little bit.
Swimmers have done a great job. We're going okay in the hockey too, so good luck to our hockey roos and our kookaburras.
Hockey roos, very
water
good.
polo, fantastic
Kookaburras
performance.
belted by Belgium.
Yeah,
Did you see the
there they
good-looking
were
bloke?
actually. Yeah, it was.
Did you see
Belgium is the team that beat them in the playoff for
No,
the
I
gold
thought you were
in
the
Tokyo.
Olympic journalist. You were telling me.
Just told you.
Well, have you not been watching that?
I have been watching it. Yes, I have.
Three. We had a hat trick. The good-looking Belgian bloke, mate. He looked like bloody Brad Pitt,
Hard from
and
here.
he spanked us.
But they've still got skin in the game, Barra. So let's not
Yeah,
write them
true.
off just yet.
Hockey roos look like winning it.
They
though.
look pretty good, and water polo going okay as well. So,
Yeah.
look, good luck to everyone. Anyway, we better get back onto footy. Just with the Eagles, Barra. So, Tom Barrass, it's getting louder and louder now. Where's he going? Is he staying at the Eagles? Is he going to Hawthorn? Or is he going to the Western Bulldogs?
Well, I think the question now is, do the Eagles trade him, let him go? Because I've been thinking they're going to have what, second pick or third
Well,
pick.
if you can get into that first round, right, you've got...
I'd get a first rounder and maybe a second rounder for him.
Yeah, possibly, but you can get... They want to try and get Liam Baker in there.
Hawthorn's got a first rounder, but no, they got to pick young blokes, mate. Yeah, I know Liam Baker will be good, but they got to pick some kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
so
do.
They got one pick, which is going to be what, third or second or third or fourth or something. That'll be like last year. They only had one pick, and then they had pick 30. Did not help. That has not helped, has it? They need to get more Harley
They
Reid.
need to trade up.
Yeah, so
he'll help
but
do that.
But selling Barrass, they'll get a first rounder from Hawthorn.
20
They'll get Hawthorn's first rounder, right? and
Yes.
possibly a future first rounder, maybe a second rounder.
If they go via the Bulldogs path, you could possibly get the same and maybe Jed Buslinger thrown into the deal. So there's sort of
Bulldogs
other
pick will be
options.
later.
But you're
And
still
do-
getting Jed,
and do you
who's a
want
young
Buslinger?
fellow with a bit of talent,
Yeah.
who hasn't played.
Where does he play, Buslinger?
Defence.
They don't need Harry.
The problem with it is, I
Got
think
Harry Edwards.
it sounds like Barrass is, if he goes, it's going to be to Hawthorn because he's had the discussions with Adrian Hickmott and particularly Sam Mitchell who flew across. So it
What
sounds
did you think about that?
I was surprised that
Yeah.
he flew it straight after the
That
Adelaide game.
disrespectful by Sam Mitchell?
Nope. All the clubs are doing
How
it,
can
mate.
it not be disrespectful?
Because every club's
That was
doing it.
That was a rhetorical question. It wasn't actually a question.
Yeah.
When I say
I don't think
that
it's-
is disrespectful of Sam Mitchell, that's truth. You can't go coming over to another
Why
club and talk to their best player.
Why not? Everyone else is doing it.
Who?
No, every club's doing
Tell
it.
me another coach who's done that.
Every single coach
Tell
is
me one.
doing it.
I'm waiting.
All of them.
I'm waiting.
Well,
Tell
I've
me.
just told you.
Who?
18
Name
of
somebody.
them.
Name somebody.
18 of
Name
them.
someone. Name a coach.
Kingsley. All
Kingsley.
of them.
Where's he flown to?
He's flown all over Australia to look at prospective recruits. They all do, mate.
Kingsley has flown to another club and
Mate,
spoken to someone's best player.
Every single coach
Who?
is playing the
Who?
same game.
Who's he done? Chad Warner.
We could be bogged down here for 10
There's
hours, mate.
no, mate. There's no way.
Fremantle's been into
I've
it.
never heard of a coach.
Collingwood's into it. Geelong's into it.
No, I'm talking about, mate, a coach,
Mm-hmm.
a senior coach going to another club and speaking to their best player.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, haven't you?
During a
You've been
season.
asleep for 10
No,
years.
because the rest of the blokes do it, and the managers normally do it. They don't speak to the player.
Clubs and players have an input
What
as
is
well.
Barrass doing talking to Mitchell?
Well, clubs, coaches and players have an input in that area.
Why are you
players
being
talk to other players.
like this? Why don't you just admit? No, seriously, why are you being like this?
Because
Why don't you just admit that
because I
it's a
don't
bit
think-
because it's Mitchell, is
I
it?
don't
Because
think-
you're a Hawthorn
I
man.
don't think it's a big deal.
Bullshit.
I think you're
All
just
right, so if
trying to.
so if
I think
Justin
you're trying
Longmuir,
to dig.
no, I'm not. If Justin Longmuir flies to Hawthorn
That's fine.
and speaks to, one of your great midfielders
Mm-hmm.
during the season, you think that's fine, do you?
To Will Day, for example.
Yeah, for Will Day, and you're about to go.
Good luck, half his luck.
and you're going to play in a final series, and
Well, so are they.
you've got a coach coming in.
Well, half his luck. Good on him.
I mean,
Doing
hang
his
on,
due
you're not being
diligence.
you're not thinking straight, mate. You want to have a break? You want to have a drink? So I'm serious because
I'm
it
perfectly
is not right. The actual coach himself
Yeah.
talking to the actual player.
Yeah.
Like I was with Waterman yesterday. This is what he said.
So what's happening with Jake Waterman?
So Jake said, I don't want to speak to anyone until the season's over.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you're in finals, you definitely don't want to speak to anyone because you want to focus on the finals.
Well, no,
that
but-
is a proper way to do it.
Okay.
His management can talk to whoever they bloody like.
Yeah, I have no
and-
issue with it.
And their management can do whatever they like,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But he, being an honourable person, unlike
Are you saying Tom's not
people on
honourable?
this table,
You saying Tom's not honourable?
well, do you think it's
I
honourable?
think it's fine.
You
You've got
what?
to shore up your future,
Then
mate.
you got to go to training and go, and the boys go, hey, mate, you going to
You're
Hawthorn?
living in the 80s, mate.
So you reckon it's changed that
Landscape
much?
massively.
You've been hanging out with the NRL blokes too long. You are. That's what they do. That's the sort of shit they do.
All right.
You know, Sonny Bill Williams. You're in the Sonny. So you're a
Yep.
Sonny Bill Williams camp,
You've taken
mate.
a
You've
few
joined the
segues.
Sonny Bill Williams camp. You have. Good on you, mate.
Okay.
Moneybags.
Okay,
Moneybags Williams. Good on you.
Jesus.
But you have. You've gone off on that tangent. I'm not joking. So I reckon it's not
finished?
right. I reckon he should not be speaking
Yeah,
to
okay.
another coach.
You've made that
until
point.
he got 4 weeks. What's a rush?
Oh, you want to find out what's going on?
You know what I reckon they're doing?
Yeah.
They're trying to force the issue because they know that the Eagles will want to trade someone. So it's McGovern, it's Barrass, it's Oscar Allen, probably not going to happen.
Oscar Allen's not being
Oh,
traded.
so we'll take Oscar Allen out. Waterman.
Yeah. Well, if he can get some more money, I would.
All right, so now, be serious for a second, right?
Yeah, I am always serious.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
not been serious.
That did not sound very good. 3 blokes the Eagles could trade. Waterman, Tom Barrass or McGovern to get a good pick. Which one are you trading?
The one with the most currency at the moment.
I don't want
seems-
most currency.
Well,
Which
Barrass.
one?
Who can you afford to lose the most? Oh, jeez.
Because I'll
Well,
tell you,
age-wise, I'm saying Tom Barrass. I'm trading because you're going to get a first rounder. You'll probably get a first rounder for all of them. Well, you will. But I think Jake forward line pretty important.
Geelong are into him
You
too.
can't really afford to lose a defender either, mate. To be honest, the Eagles. But
Yeah, Harry Edwards, mate.
You gotta-
Harry Edwards. Harry Edwards. Harry
Yeah,
Edwards.
he's a very
Harry
good
Edwards.
player.
Harry Edwards.
I mentioned
Can't
him about
play.
15 minutes
He's
ago.
they're sweet. They're sweet. Otherwise, Harry Edwards leaves, mate.
So
That's what I'm saying. If McGovern or Barrass are still around, they come for Harry Edwards, the clubs, don't they?
So if you can get some, if you can trade into the first round via someone like a Tom Barrass, you do so.
All right.
So you okay now?
I'm thinking McGovern.
Settle down a bit?
I'm thinking McGovern.
Okay.
Because you go, Gov, we love you. You look a little bit, not ambivalent. He's got a premiership. He's a 4-time All-Australian. He's done it all, right? Got money, huge money. Been on 800,000 for a couple of years, giggling. What's the one thing, this is how I would handle it. What's the one thing you'd like to do, Gov, now, before you retire? You know what? I've been thinking about it. I'd like to play with my brother, Mitch. I've never played with him. You know, they're in premiership mode. You know, imagine if I pinched a premiership with my brother at Carlton.
So you're saying this is on?
This is how I'm handling it.
Are you handling it, or you're saying this is on? This is what they're doing?
Well, if Barrass, that's why I think Barrass has stepped it up, because he can see where it could go. He wants to be the man. He wants, because his sister was in Sydney, wasn't she? Now she's in Melbourne.
Oh, she's in Melbourne now.
He's gone to Melbourne. So now I think he thinks, and he feels like he's been slighted in some way as well with some deal in the past that they said, look, we'll look after you down the track. He probably feels like he hasn't been looked after, and even though he's got 3 more years to run. So for him to meet with Mitchell makes me think that he's trying to force the issue.
Okay, well, good luck.
Either that or he's a strange dude.
They're dog years, mate. And by dog years, I mean it's a short life as an AFL player. So you've got to make the most of it while you can. He's given great service to West Coast. I have no issue with him talking to Hawthorn. They're not playing finals. I have no issue with Sam Mitchell
Who's
flying
not playing
over.
finals? The Eagles.
We're Eagles.
Yeah, right.
Hawthorn's probably not either.
But Waterman says, man, I'm not talking to anyone. Because I want to do the right thing by the club.
Okay.
He's,
well, good luck to him
so
too.
is that opposite to what you're saying about Tommy?
What are you trying to say?
It is, isn't it?
You're trying to get a bite out of me. You're not getting it, mate. You've done
I
well.
don't need to, mate. I made a point. Because
yeah,
Waterman's my man.
you have-
Waterman is a high caliber character fella.
He is. So is Tom Barrass.
Well,
okay. All right. You make your point. Hey, before we get on to our tips, mate, let's have a listen to our great mate, David Shortte from TABtouch.
Shorty's tips.
g'day, Shorttey. And the fantasy players, they're all over Adam Treloar, and I see he's your heater for this week, right?
He is indeed, Barra. Yes, nice to be with you. He's been in sparkling form. He plays his 250th match on Friday night. He's been averaging 33 disposals and a goal in his last 3 games. He's now 12th in Brownlow betting at $81.
33 disposals. Who's gone cold? Which team?
The Swannies, believe it or not, they're on top of the table still with a game and a half buffer, but they've now lost 4 of their last 5. That's snuck up on us a little bit, and they've picked up some injuries to some pretty important players over the last couple of weeks, so they're just on the cooler for a bit.
Shorttey, has a top team ever been a cooler?
I haven't seen it before, Barra, but I must admit I haven't seen a side on top of the ladder with such a big buffer lose 4 out of 5 either.
They must be getting trained. He's training them up, isn't he, for the finals? What about a hot punt, mate? You've been going all right.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Western Bulldogs on Friday night. I think Geelong will win and Freo should be too good for the Bombers. 269 looks okay to me.
Should pay more than that, I reckon. There's 3 tough games there. And on the drift, well, we know who that is.
Yeah, the D's. For the 3rd week in a row, they've been really easy to back. They've drifted from 330 now out to 355 for their clash with the Dogs on Friday night.
And the player to watch, mate, the whole of the AFL will be watching this bloke, won't they?
Big style. Scotty Pendlebury, the Pies champ, plays his 400th game against arch rival Carlton in a massive, massive game for both clubs. He's paying $2.25 to get 25 or more disposals, $1.85 to kick a goal at any time. But he's one of the greatest players I've seen in my lifetime, Barra. Amazing durability, a great leader, beautiful user of the football, and I can't wait to see how he goes in his 400th this weekend.
What a story it is. 400 games, quite remarkable. He's a great man, and so are you, Shorttey. Thank you, mate, for Shorttey's tips.
Cheers, Barra.
Okay, Barra, Friday night, Marvel Stadium, 5:15 p.m. The Western Bulldogs, $1.29. Melbourne, $3.55. Pretty hard to make a case against the Western Bulldogs right now. They've conceded just 60.7 points per game over their last 3 games, ranked 2nd defensively. We know how much power they've got in that forward line. Yes, Melbourne is a different proposition with Max Gawn back in that team, but I'm picking the Dogs here. I think they're they've hit a very rich vein of form, and they'll continue along their winning ways. You?
It's such a hard game because you don't trust the Bulldogs, but they've been in such great form, as you say. But Melbourne, this is really the last roll of the dice, isn't it? I mean, Nick Caulfield subbed out of the side after the win over Sydney, crunched in a tackle. He won't be fit for the game. Yeah, okay, Bulldogs, I guess, but geez, it's hard, isn't it?
So a bit of a double header Friday night, one of those weird ones. Friday night, Optus Stadium, West Coast Eagles $2.75, Gold Coast $1.45, 6:30 p.m. We know the Suns do not travel, but they had a good win over here last year. A few changes to that Eagles side. We know Hutchinson, Petruccelli out with suspension, Luke Edwards and Tom Barrass with concussion. In comes Clay Hall, 19, the son of Derek. A ripping young fella, great potential future long-term midfielder. I think Yo's okay. Gov's still under a cloud. Matt Flynn a chance to come in as well, and Liam Duggan will be back to offset some of those outs. So I'm going to say Gold Coast have got too much to play for, Barra. I reckon there's still an outside chance of playing finals, and I reckon they're going to win this game. It's going to be their first road win of the season.
Gee, that's big, isn't it? Because they are horrible on the road. And the Eagles do get back, as you said, Gov. Well, is Gov going to play?
He's a question mark.
And obviously Duggan's in, and you reckon Flynn's going to come into the ruck,
Ball will debut.
And
Tom Cole play up the ground, which is interesting.
But Barrass is out, eh? Mm-hmm. Jeez. And the Eagles are underdogs. I think Eagles at home, surely. I've been impressed with Jared Schofield. He hasn't made any mistakes yet, has he?
No.
Don't you reckon?
They had it was a pretty bad loss in Melbourne, but there were some extenuating circumstances. I think the Brisbane game and the Derby, there's a lot to like about the way he coached and the way the players responded to him. So I agree with you. I'm a big fan. I think he should be very much in the chop up for that job full time, but I can't pick him this week.
Do you think Dom Sheed should play this week?
No, not necessarily.
30 odd.
I think there should be a farewell. I think he plays next year. I think Gaff doesn't, and there should be a farewell game for him. So it's either going to be this game or the Carlton game.
For Gaff. That'll be Gaffy's send-off, won't it? Sheed.
So who are you picking? You've got to keep moving quickly through these.
I'm interested because Perth are playing the Eagles.
I know you always
I want Sheed to get in there. All right, yeah, I'm tipping the Eagles, mate. I'm keeping the faith, brother.
Okay. Saturday, Marvel Stadium, 11:45 a.m. North Melbourne, $1.70. Richmond, $2.15. Sorry we can't spend more time on this game, but North Melbourne hasn't done too much wrong in recent times, and I think they will win this game pretty comfortably. There's some chance Dusty comes back for Richmond.
So Dusty plays, change your mind?
No, still picking North.
I'm North as well.
Okay, GMHBA Saturday, 2:35 p.m. Geelong, $1.33. Adelaide, $3.30. Absolute spanking at home by Hawthorn last week. Yes, the pressure is on their coach, Matthew Knights. Will not beat Geelong at GMHBA. That's my tip.
Gary Rowan subbed out of last week's game after a head clash and is out. Jai Clark might come back in. Yeah, I'll say the Cats as well.
Adelaide Oval, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Port Adelaide v Sydney Swans, $1.90. Sydney just having a bit of a form lapse at the moment. Port Adelaide has the wood on Sydney. Barra has won its last 7 matches against Sydney by an average margin of 23 points dating back to round 1, 2017. And I'm tipping that it's going to continue, and I'm tipping Port Adelaide to win that game. It's at home. It's at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, wow. So the Swannies drop another one.
Yep.
Rowbottom could be back. Yeah, I think you're right, maybe. Maybe the Swannies are on the slide. Okay, Port.
Which is why Fremantle need to dream big because it's a chance. MCG Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Collingwood, $2.60. Carlton, $1.50. Bounced back with the win last week, Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury, 400 games. What a magnificent effort. Has had 30-plus disposals, Barra, in 116 games across his career, the third most by any player in champion data history. Behind who? There's 2 others.
So, are you talking about
Gary Ablett Jr. is one.
Yeah.
Who's the other?
No, I don't know.
Coaches Hawthorn, Sam Mitchell.
Yeah.
So I am picking the Blues to get the job done here. I think Collingwood will win some games going home, but this is too much of an ask.
Geez, they'll be desperate to get
Big
up.
game at the G.
Desperate to get up at the G for Pendles, won't they? Kruger's back. Oh, Kruger's fine. McCreary and Jordan De Goey in doubt, though. Harry Mackay's been unwell. Jeepers. Blake Acres could play. Right, okay, the Blues. I'll stay with you, but geez, 400 games.
Oh, it's a great effort. MCG Sunday, 1:20 p.m. Essendon, $2.35. Fremantle, $1.60. Fife out. Johnson possibly in, if not Erasmus. Great opportunity, Barra, for Fremantle to just walk out onto that ground. A lot of young players. just sniff it. Sniff history,
Yeah,
sniff where the grand
Yeah, I
finals
like it.
played
I like
and
it.
say, we'll be back here in 6 weeks or so and we're going to take away some silverware. But seriously, Essendon on the nose at the moment, seriously on the nose. This is a game Fremantle has to win clearly to stay in the top 4, but also I think it's important for them to just get out there on the MCG and experience it and play well there.
What will it say if they don't do the job?
Oh, well, they're still in the mix because they've won enough games, but they need to win these sorts of games if they are to challenge for the flag. Simple as that. You can't drop these.
Yes, losing the experienced Fife is a bit of a bummer, and Bombers will be so fired up.
But you know why I reckon they didn't challenge that? Because he needed a rest anyway. He's played every game. He's only been the sub once, I think. And, you know, he's an ageing body. So I don't mind the fact that he's not playing.
I reckon this is the biggest game for the club for the year. If they can get over this, they are just right there. I reckon, 7 points to the Dockers. Caleb, did you see that stats on Caleb? 70 consecutive matches where he's had 20 or more.
Yeah, incredible for a young fella.
70 consecutive. Jack McRae and him on 70, the most in the AFL. All right, the Bombers are going to get beaten.
Yeah, okay, so you're with Fremantle. Manuka Oval in Canberra Sunday. Interesting, 11:10am. The Giants in really good form, $1.81 against one of the form teams, Hawthorn, $2. Wanted to take out some happiness insurance and pick the Giants, mate. But you know what? I just think Hawthorn's playing too well and will win this game.
Giants not playing? Does that bother you?
Nah, not at all. I mean, he's a very good player, but we can cover Giants.
Giants will be hoping Cornelio will be fit. I got to go to the Giants.
Yep.
But you're right, Manuka Oval. Who knows what Hawthorn would do at Manuka
Beat
Oval?
him last time. We got a pretty good record
Did you
there.
beat him at Manuka?
I think we have, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sunday, Marvel Stadium, 2:40pm. St Kilda, $2.50. Found a little bit of form. The Saints going okay against the Lions, $1.88. Made the mistake of picking Gold Coast last week. They proved me wrong. I think Brisbane gets the job done again and continues on its merry way.
Saints are in pretty good form though, aren't they?
Yep.
Harris Andrews comes back.
Big
Is he one of the few blokes that you always say his whole name?
Harris Andrews.
You never
Andrews.
Do you ever call him Andrews?
Never. Ever. Once.
Who
thought about that.
Who else is like that?
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought about that once.
Harris Andrews?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're saying that's shit because you never thought of it. Okay, mate.
No,
Get me back for Sam Mitchell
putting
coming
words in
over
my
here
mouth
being
today,
a
mate.
dodgy bugger. I'm going St Kilda.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. They're the tips for this week. Now it's time for this.
Saddle up your camel. It's time for the Thirsty Camel mailbag.
Yes, thank you to Thirsty Camel. This week's special Emu Export and Emu Bidder blocks only $59.99. We have a $50 gift voucher to give away, Barra, thanks to Thirsty Camel. We will be in touch with the winner. Please get your questions in for next week to quartersandbarra at wanews.com.au. Cue the sad music. Barra, we've got another one. This one's from Matt. Jeff couldn't have said it better.
This is good.
I never realised until recently how Eagles-centric this podcast has become. Always thought Quarters was unbiased when it came to WA teams, but unfortunately he and Barra just can't get enough of the Eagles. This is a WA podcast, and one of our teams are equal second, and you still can't find more than 5 minutes to talk about them. Madness. Common boys. He actually means come on boys, but he's written common boys. Maybe he thinks we're common. Do you think he's saying we're
I'm definitely common.
That's from Matt. Matt.
Matt, it's not Jeff.
Matt, no,
Someone else.
This is another guy.
It must be
Just saying, Matt,
Jeff's mate.
I know you're a bit forlorn. You're a bit sad about all this, but just, pecker up. You've got a good final series ahead of you, and I think you'll find we'll be talking a bit more about Fremantle. And I think today we've spoken a lot about. We opened the show with Fremantle today. Thank you, Matt.
You are dripping with sincerity.
G'day, gents. Long-time listener, WA expat living in Queensland, and love the pod. There you go, Barra. We've got some fans. And Barra, as an Eagles nuffy, keep up the old West Coast stories. They are fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Just a quick one regarding Tom Barrass. If Hawthorn are interested, I suggest a Barrass for a Barrass trade. By this, I mean Denver Granger Barrass. Good point.
He could be in the deal. So
throw him in the
deal. Still
deal.
want that first rounder because we've got to get a pick. But chuck him in as a sweetener.
Yeah, he's playing
as
for
a
Box
steak
Hill,
knives.
can't get into the team
Is
at
he
the
any
moment.
good?
He's been disappointing, but maybe coming home to WA might be a change of environment, might suit him. So
What's his position?
he's defender. He's an intercept defender.
Right, okay.
Along with a first-round pick, he would be a good pickup for West Coast, fits the young demographic, key position player, key defender. Quarters, as the Hawks man and keen to know your thoughts on this, on Granger Barrass himself, seems to have not been given many opportunities, or is there more to it? That's regards, Ryan. Not necessarily. It just hasn't been given the opportunity. He's a bit different, pretty fiery.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been, there's been a few training sessions where he's got a bit fired up.
Right.
But the boys like him, and it just hasn't got the opportunity. So maybe it is time. But I think we've answered that. But good email. Hello, Quarters and Barra. Listening to Barra talk about Harley Reid in the last pod and reading all socials, it feels like West Coast supporters have some sort of goggles on, which filters out how annoying Reid is. Don't get me wrong, he is a gun and would have him on Frio's list in an instant. But the attention he gets, not just from Freo, but from all clubs, is brought on by his actions. Yes, he was booed out of the blocks, but that's because of all his actions prior to the game. Everyone can remember, except for WCA fans, that is, WCE fans. The rest of the footy world sees it, but not West Coast Eagles, which is understandable. Reid is like the self-entitled brat child, and West Coast Eagles is the blind mother who thinks he can do no wrong. Reid gave away 5 free kicks, not the one Barra had said. It was the most of any one player in the round. Yes, he does need to rein it in and get rid of that SHIT eating grin on his face. Too harsh? Love the pod, and as a Freo fan, I think the balance is good between the two clubs. That's cheers, Shorttey. Barra, answer?
Okay, yeah, he does make some good points, because if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, he's annoying. And Cousins did say to me that, maybe they know that they can get to him. So if you keep showing that they can get to you, they keep coming for you, and maybe you don't need to do that. So, okay, I'll take that on board.
Okay, come on, Barra, pull the other one. Harley Reid has been in the competition for 5 minutes and thinks he can strut around with a chip on his shoulder. The booing of him completely warranted. The instigator didn't get pinged in the derby, only the retaliators. Media circus when he was drafted was ridiculous, and now it seems the paper does it to rile people up. The booing is as much aimed at Harley as it is the fanfare around him. When was the last time Freo had a paper go bonkers of someone they recruited? Cheers, Kicks. Kicks, I reckon we've gone pretty bonkers over Josh Treacy.
Probably not as much as Harley.
No one has.
Now, you are representing the West Australian, yeah. So what is your answer to... I noticed that you've sort of gone a bit more Freo now, especially after their banner.
They're about to play.
After the banner.
Yeah, it was a great banner.
Banner said, how about
some back page? And we answered it with a back page of ourselves. Look at banner on it.
That's the way to keep... I know that Harley... And to be honest, Harley sells papers, right?
Yep.
And he does create ratings. The ratings for the Derby were massive, and a lot of it based on Harley.
Okay? And round 6, and his performance in round 6, which was phenomenal.
Both times, high ratings. But Fremantle, if you put Fremantle on the back page more, that will put pressure on West Coast to come to the party and be more sort of,
Well, I'm tipping there's going to be some back pages coming up, mate, because they're playing finals. Hi, Quarters and Barra. I was recently at the MCG watching Geelong beat up Collingwood. The game was basically sold out, which made the 20,000 odd empty seats in the MCC members area seem incongruous. AFL fans in WA pay the highest prices in the country to help the AFL subsidise heritage clubs in Melbourne and expansion clubs in New South Wales and Queensland, and the Footy Commission in WA, which I can all grudgingly accept as it helps to make ours the greatest national code by a long way. But if we in WA have to chip in so much, why do a bunch of cricket clubs members get to reserve such a big number of seats in so many games? I assume very little or none of the MCC memberships goes to football. If the number of MCC members was wound back over time, there would be more seats available to the general public, more people at the games, and more money to prop up St Kilda, etc. But I assume the vested interest involved here have a bit too much clout. Andrew from W, you're never going to wind back the MCC membership. It's just the way it is. And why should you? I'm in the queue. I'll put my hand up.
Yeah, I know. How many years have you been waiting?
20.
Yeah, so you can't. It's hard to wind back when people are still waiting 20 years to get their membership. Yeah, but I know what he says. You know what blew me away was that Melbourne only had 18,000 fans at their game. 18,000. That's pathetic. Like something going wrong there.
Let's have a WA band for the Eagles entry song, Braced by Birds of Tokyo or Themata by Carnival. That's Seb from O'Connor. But, Barra, I've got our winner.
Okay.
And we don't probably... don't award enough Tuesday winners, I reckon. But I loved the
Tuesday
email.
emails.
I love the email from Craig Barrett suggesting some additional songs for the Eagles to run out to. Enter Sandman, Raw by Katy Perry, Heroes, David Bowie, Bulls, The Cat Empire, Leaving Home, Jebediah. That was Craig Acomo. Love the mail. Craig, congratulations. You're this week's winner. We'll be in contact with you. You win a $50 gift voucher thanks to Thirsty Camel. Thank you, Barra. Thank you for listening. This has been Quarters and Barra. We have been brought to you by TABtouch. Got the touch. Download the TABtouch app today. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Look forward to coming back on Tuesday and discussing all the games, and hopefully Barra is a little less cranky.
Mate, if Mitchell flies over and speaks to any more of our blokes, it's on again,
Donkey
Kong.
You know he stayed at my house.